Hello everyone, Jamie Isaacs here of Candid TV, and as promised, we have a special guest with us today, author of Beautifully Graced, Ashley J. Darling.
Hello.
Ashley J. Darling is a woman who is primarily committed to her love of Christ and family. Her values are beyond substantial because of her passion for the things of Christ. She is an eminent mother of two, wife, sister, daughter, and friend. Strength and grace woven throughout her veins, she walks the path of righteousness, being a beacon of light to not only those who come after her, but those who are present and before her. The strength of her character is not shaken and is sturdy with ethical morals that prove that she is a God-fearing woman of intellect and outstanding stature. It is good to have you here for the first time on Candid TV, making history as our first female interviewee. So how are you feeling today?
I am good. I am excited to be interviewed by you because I've just seen a lot of reviews and stuff, so I'm excited to be here.
Great. It's good to have you. So the first question I want to ask you, how does it feel, or has it set in yet that you are actually author of a published book that can not only be found in hard copy, like the one that I'm holding here, but also on Amazon? Like, I actually was able to Google you and come across the book on Google. How does that feel? Has that set in that, like, this is actually real, that you're an author?
At some point, I get a little giddy. I'm like, oh my god, like I'm on the internet. But like I said, at some point it sets in and it's like you actually did this, you've completed this.
Right.
It's no longer a thought anymore or a second guessing. It's actually done and it's here. You can hold it in your hand.
Right.
So yeah.
So it's a good feeling?
It is a good feeling. It's a good feeling, especially when I hear a lot of people come up to me and they mention certain parts in the book and how it's relatable to them, and it's like you really see that my book is relatable to you and your story. So yeah, it's a good feeling.
So tell us, how long did it actually take you to write this book?
Well, I started to write Beautifully Graced after I had my second child.
Right.
I was on maternity leave and I just started to write down my feelings, so it took maybe about a year. Well, actually less than a year, because I contacted the publisher and everybody last November, and then
Right.
it just started rolling from there.
Right.
Hmm.
Okay, Ashley, what actually made you decide to write this book?
Well, initially I had no thought that I was writing a book. It was just me journaling down my feelings, because at the point I was going through depression and I was going through something that I thought that nobody would be able to understand if I shared to them what I was feeling. So I just decided to write, and then one day Chris picked up pieces of my paper and he was like, "You writing a book?" And I was like, "No, it's just how I feel." And then so those pages turned into a book, surprisingly.
Right.
And that was the only thing that got me through during that period of depression and feeling really lost.
Right.
So
The title, Beautifully Graced, when grace takes over the impossible. What made you decide on that title?
well, it took me a while, really, because I had the pages, but then I didn't have a title for it.
Right.
And I was like, God, if I'm supposed to actually do this, you have to help me with the title. And
Right.
so I was just playing around with some words, and then I think it was one night, the title just came to me, Beautifully Graced, and I associate it with how I was feeling at that time. I didn't feel beautiful. I didn't feel as if what I was going through was the greatest point in my life. And then to write and to feel that there is some relief, and to actually for the Lord to reveal to me that, hey, I've graced you for this journey, and throughout this journey, even though you don't feel it, even though you don't see the beauty in it,
Right.
you are graced for it, and it's a beautiful journey once I am in the midst of it.
Yes.
So that's where it came from.
Really, could you tell us what the book is actually about?
Okay, so it's a part tell all. talking about my marriage and how Chris and I survived certain parts in our marriage when we didn't feel as if we would survive,
Right.
being a young couple and a young Christian couple at that. So I shed light on some of the issues that we went through, and then I shed light on depression. You know, some people feel as if depression is just, oh, that's just something, but that really affects you in your day-to-day life. So I shed light on being a Christian and actually dealing with issues.
The book, it's very intimate and personal, and you're being very transparent. Now, in our Bahamian culture, some of the older folks, they coin the phrase, you talk some, you keep some.
Heard that before.
So, what would you say to someone who has that view and feel that you probably was too transparent, and they would probably say to you, you talk some, you keep some? How would you respond to someone like that?
It took me a while to actually become true to myself in embracing the grace to journey that I was on. I had no other choice but to be transparent.
Right.
And I'm grateful for my obedience because, like I said, there are so many women that inbox me or find my cell number or stop me on the side of the road and be like, you know, I can really relate to your story. My obedience caused them to look at what they've went through
Right.
or what they are currently going through. And it caused them to say, you know, if she could actually do this and do while she was a Christian, and you know, I can actually do this too. I can actually overcome whatever I've dealt with. I want it to be relatable. That's
Right.
something Chris and I always talk about, being relatable to people and showing our true self that they can actually see grace in human form.
Yeah, I think it's in part two, where in fact, that's my favorite part of the book. It was very interesting to hear you talk about discovering the meaning of your daughter's name.
Yeah.
Could you share with my viewers that story?
Her name is Caris, Carys, and we just chose it because we liked it. Because you know, my son's name is Christopher, his father, so he's like Christopher and Caris. Oh, that sounds good. And it was one morning. She was already born. I was just sitting in the bed. Chris had already gone to work, and for some reason, I just stumbled on the internet, and I stumbled across her name, and in Greek, it meant grace. Immediately, I got the revelation that she is my grace in human form.
Right.
Like, even when I didn't think that I could carry her for the 9 months and give her all the love that I thought that she deserved at that time, seeing that I had gotten pregnant with her shortly after I had our son, she was my grace. It was amazing to me. It was absolutely amazing to me.
Like I said, that was my favorite part of the book. I mean, I enjoyed the entire book, but that really stood out to me. I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Yes.